Hey guys, so if you were to ask me what my favorite book is, I wouldn't be able to give you an answer. I don't have a favorite book. I have 4 favorite books. The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. So this is the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit, which starts it all. And I want to do a review for you guys without giving any spoilers away in case some of you want to read it and haven't had the chance yet. And I want to tell you that if you've watched the movies, whether you enjoy them or not, really recommend that you read these books and start with The Hobbit. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy without reading The Hobbit first back in 6th grade, so I was 12 years old. And as a 12-year-old reader, there were a lot of details that I missed, and I totally missed the point, for one thing. It was all about destroying this one ring of power, but for example, I didn't know the Two Towers. I didn't know why it was called the Two Towers, and I missed that detail, and that's kind of a big thing. For those of you who have seen the movies, you know that they're really long movies. They're 3 hours each, and it doesn't cover even half of what's in the books. That's in my opinion. The Hobbit is in the making right now. They have not done a movie, but it's happening, and I'm really excited for it. I can't wait. But so the movies, they cut out a lot of details. You don't understand who is who sometimes, and the characters are, because there's less time for character development, they're a little less likable in the movie. I'm going to tell you about the books. So I started again reading a month ago. I decided to reread all of these books, starting with The Hobbit. I never read it before, and it makes so much more sense, you guys, once you've read The Hobbit. This is where you meet the characters Bilbo, Gandalf, and Thorin and his company of dwarves. So Gandalf starts this journey for Bilbo. He invites him to travel with a group of 13 dwarves. They are going on a quest to reclaim their treasure that's trapped in a mountain with a dragon. Bilbo was known as a good burglar, and Gandalf wanted him to help Thorin and his company. Gandalf wanted Bilbo to help Thorin and his company recover this treasure, this stolen treasure. So in this book you also meet Gollum, which is the current ring bearer, and Bilbo gets a hold of it, he finds it, and it's a ring that seems pretty harmless at first. It helps them become invisible, and it helped them out so much. Without this ring, they wouldn't have accomplished what they accomplished at the end. And so Bilbo holds on to this ring for many years until the first book of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Fellowship of the Ring. This is where you meet Frodo. And Frodo is his heir. He's his cousin, but then Bilbo adopted him as his heir. So he hands over everything to him. Bilbo goes on this last journey on his 111st birthday. That's how the book starts. It's a party, a farewell party. And he gives everything and reluctantly hands over the ring to Frodo. It kind of started taking over him. And this is where you learn that the ring is actually evil, and reveals to Frodo what this ring is all about, and so it needs to be destroyed. It has to go to Mount Doom, so they have to make a trip to Mordor. You meet the Fellowship, which is Frodo, of course, his friend Sam, 2 other hobbits, Merry and Pippin, Gandalf, of course, and meet Aragorn, Boromir, which are 2 mortal men, and then they travel with Gimli, the dwarf, who is the son of one of the dwarves that traveled with Bilbo in The Hobbit. There's a lot of history. They refer back to The Hobbit a lot, so that's why I would recommend reading this first. It helps you understand everything so much better. Follow the story a lot easier, because when I first read this book in 6th grade, it started off with Bilbo's farewell party and Gandalf showing up at the door, and I was like, who's Gandalf and who's Bilbo? Why are they saying goodbye to him? He seemed to me, irrelevant to this quest on getting rid of the ring. But you kind of you learn that he was the ring bearer, and then you meet Gollum. So Gollum crosses paths with the Fellowship of the Ring. So you kind of have to know who he is, understand his past as well. And then it's kind of, the Fellowship of the Ring ends with a cliffhanger. And so they pick up where they left off in the Two Towers. And this, I would have to say, is my least favorite, honestly. I love it. It's still, I love this entire trilogy. But this one, it would be my least favorite because there's a lot of battle and war going on. And that's not what I really look for in a book. I mean, I was really interested in the quest. And they're battling 10,000 orcs. And this is orchestrated by Saruman, who is the traitor who used to be a noble being, a noble wizard, Gandalf's old friend. So he's like the ultimate evil in this book. And this is where Gollum plays a pretty big role. We learn a lot more about him. He just seems, up until this point, from the Hobbit through the Fellowship, he just seems like this nasty little creature, but then you learn that he wasn't so bad to begin with, and he battles with a lot of self-identity. Original Fellowship travelers, they grow a lot. A bit of humor in the first book, and this one, it becomes darker, more serious. Everyone grows. Aragorn becomes more of a leader. He was already kind of a leader in the first one, but he really steps up to the plate in this book. He leads the battle, and he does a lot of the fighting. And Legolas is like his right-hand man, I feel like. And without him, he wouldn't be able to have tracked Merry and Pippin quite as well, because elves apparently have really good eyesight. And they're really swift. And the final book, Return of the King, which I just finished this morning. I'm really sad that it's over. Like, I'm really, really sad that it's over. It sucks. But, so, again, they pick up where they left off. And Aragorn, he just takes over. He's like the true hero in this book. He kind of was the hero in the second book as well, but take on a big role, which is nice because he's my favorite character in the book and in the movies. War and battle involved in this book, but not as much. This one's actually my favorite. They continue with their battle, and then the battle with Saruman is over, so it's all about battling Sauron and his orcs. It's all about buying time for Frodo and Sam to make it to Mordor and destroy the ring. Gollum is still with them. A few twists in this book, I would say. There's confusion, a lot of hardships. First, when I read this book, I didn't know which king they were talking about, who was returning to the throne. And I'm not going to give it away for those of you who don't know. I certainly didn't know, and reading it the second time, I caught a lot of foreshadowing, so it became pretty obvious reading it again. But I'm really happy with the way it turns out, and then it's also really sad because in the end, of course, the Fellowship of Nine, they have to say goodbye. They go their separate ways. And it's really sad because, I mean, these books, you guys, they're not very long, but they're really dense. I mean, it's not one of those quick reads that you just sit in the tub and read for a couple hours and you can finish it in a day. Maybe you can finish it in a day. I'm not a fast reader, but I'm definitely not a slow reader either. But I took my time with these books. There's so much going on. It's not something you want to speed through. You just want to absorb everything. And you guys, these books, J.R.R. Tolkien, he really takes his time in describing everything. And that's why it feels like the movie just goes by that quickly, even though it's 3 hours long. Travelers go into a town, they give you like a history of the town, the kind of people that dwell there. There's a lot of imagery in these books, a lot of vivid descriptions, and that takes up a lot of the pages. And what I don't like about these books is that they use the movie actors on the covers. I wanted the older ones. I was trying to look for older books where they were published before the movies came out, like The Hobbit. I have my own interpretations on each character, what they look like and how they sound when they talk, and to be quite honest, none of them sounded the way I imagined in the movie. Of course, the director has his own take on what the characters are like, and because they have to put a time limit on these movies, characters are less, the characters don't have that much time to grow and less time to grow on you as a reader. So it just becomes a lot more intimate. You get to know the characters. When something happens to them, it kind of tugs at your heart. I've never read a book where the bonds between these characters are so strong. Check out these books. Definitely give it a chance. Don't go into it without reading The Hobbit first. The Hobbit is a very quick read. It's kind of like double-spaced, and it's written more for like younger age, maybe like 9 to 12. According to Scholastic Books, they say that all these books are at the reading level of 9 to 12. I think they're totally wrong. The most advanced young readers would probably still miss a lot of the details and not understand just how profound these books are. They would enjoy the humor and the action, but there's so much more to it. It's so thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy. And for those of you who have watched the movies or have read the books or both, please leave a response. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you. Bye.